Thank you very much for coming. It's really good to see you here today. I've met one or two of you here before. Some of you I know personally. It's great to see you back here. I am also the author of this book, David and Goliath, How Independent Retailers Can Take on the Giants and Win. And that's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. You know, it's interesting because independent retailers are going through a tough time at the moment. And you don't have to have been in retail for very long to know that it's a difficult time for the high street, isn't it? Even for the big guys who are closing down. But it's really difficult. But when you go back in history and you have a look at this country of shopkeepers, you'll see that these trends tend to happen in cycles. Our ancestors were shopkeepers, most of them. We had about 300,000 shopkeepers in this country if you go back to the early 1900s. Most of them family businesses, subsistence kind of shopkeepers, and some of them have been trading for decades, sometimes hundreds of years. And something happened in the 1930s that was a new phenomenon which totally disrupted this country of shopkeepers. And that was the rise of the national chain stores. Remember them? Okay, there's still a few of them around. But this was a brand new phenomenon. And retailers in this country didn't quite know what to make of them. The public did, because the public loved them. And what they did was they went to these chain stores in their thousands. And the reason that they went there was because they were convenient, the products were great, the service was great, the shops were clean. And because they were so big, they could afford to put their products on the shelves at a really attractive price. So they had everything going for them. So it was a great time for the national chain stores, but quite a miserable time for independent traders. Now, Amazon is massive. I'm not just talking about Amazon, I'm talking about the Wayfairs, any large internet trading company. They have a huge advantage over the high street because they have this massive global reach. But the reason that they're successful is the very same reasons that the chain stores were successful in the first place. And that is, they're convenient, they've got great products, the prices are good, the service is great. I'm sure you shop on Amazon, I shop on Amazon, and on the internet. I have a book, as I've said, that I sell on Amazon. So this is not about having a go at the big guys. It's not about how do we bring them down, because they offer great service. And if someone's offering great service, people will go back to them time and time again. The question that many of you may have on your mind at this moment is there a future for independent retailers? I'm sure you've had that question in your mind, maybe at 3 o'clock in the morning when you're wondering how you're going to get people in the shop the next day. For me, the answer is a resounding yes. There is a massive future for independent retailers in this country. And the reason for that is that people still love to shop. Because it's really, really important to know who your customer is. Because if you don't know who your customer is, then you don't really have a business. That is history. As an independent retailer, you really need to super niche your business so that people know what you stand for and who you are. Otherwise, how are you going to be heard in a crowded marketplace? If we know what we should be doing, what do you think it is that prevents us from taking that step in the first place? So, if this is where we want to be, and this is where we are at the moment, very often we need to step out of our comfort zone in order to achieve what we want. And that might involve borrowing the money, which is a bit risky. If we want to promote our products online, we may need to make some kind of investment. Again, it's a risk. We don't know what kind of results we're going to get. We may need to employ more staff, pay staff a bit better wages. All of these come into play, don't they? But there's a risk involved there. And if we can learn how to overcome that risk, because usually the obstacle or the hindrance that's preventing us from getting to where we are now and where we want to be is within ourselves. So it comes down to our belief in our ability to make the changes. It comes back to our confidence that we can make these things work for us. So it has nothing to do with the Amazons in the world. It's got nothing to do with Brexit or the economy or whatever's going on. We have it within ourselves to make a difference. Now, the irony is that your competition isn't the giants of the world. Your competition is down the end of the street. It's the other retailer that also sells maybe similar things that you do. He might be in the next town, or she might be in the next village. They are your competition. Because if you try taking on the giants in this world, you're going to come off second best every time. Whose shop are they going to go into? Are they going to come into your shop or your competitors at the bottom of the street? In my book, I speak about this 5-step formula to help your business to stand out from the crowd. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify target customer. This gentleman over here spoke about you need to know who your customer is. You need to know really a deep down description of who that customer is, or who you would like that customer to be, and how you're going to get more of them. The next part of the process is that we want to get you the right brand and the right message that resonates with your target customer, because you need to be heard in a crowded marketplace. The third step is we need to make sure that your products and your services are aligned with your target customer. The fourth step in the process, and this is something I don't often see with retailers, that we need an active prospecting campaign. And then the last thing we do is we help to raise your personal profile, because the main difference between you and your competition is you. Thank you very much for your time and attention. I appreciate your contribution as well. And if you have any questions, please either come up afterwards or we can ask questions now. Thank you very much.